Okay, another evening. We are here. Welcome, welcome to the Dance Fit Hub. This group is for women over 55 who are trying to get their mojo back. Maybe you lost it along the way. Maybe you retired, you had your mojo, and now you're like, where is it? Right? So that's where this group is for. It's for you to motivate you to get you moving, to give you tips, to give you free workouts, and also these great trainings that we have on a weekly basis on Thursday evenings. And so this month it is Women's History Month, and to celebrate that, I have put together a whole bunch of interviews, interviewing some really remarkable women that I have come across. And so last week we started with our influencer, Katya Jackson. And tonight we are interviewing the Solivita belly dancers. So yeah, so excited. I finally get them on here because those of you that take classes with me in person, you know that I've been working for this group, with this group for several years now, and you've probably seen some of the posts about them. And so I thought, you know what? It's about time that we interview these beautiful ladies and talk about what exactly belly dancing has done for them, because they are definitely women that range from the ages like 50 something to 80 something. And they are just redefining beauty, grace, and passion through this art of belly dance. They are also breaking stereotypes, which I'm not really sure if they even realize that they're doing, but they're breaking stereotypes and kind of live by the words of age is just a number, right? And their passion really shows no boundaries. So hopefully by the end of tonight, after listening to all the stories, you will also get a dose of that inspiration and that joy. And maybe it will convince you that maybe belly dancing is something that you need to try at least once, right, in your lifetime. So ladies, welcome to this Women's History Month series. Let me start by just telling everybody a little bit about how I got started with belly dance, right? You're hearing about how they got started, but let me just tell you a little bit about me. So I was drawn to it, of course, when I met my husband. My husband is Egyptian. And so my in-laws really exposed me to the music and the dancing, right? This art form. And I really loved it because it's also a cultural dance. So at a lot of functions, there was a lot of Middle Eastern music, specifically Egyptian music, and all of the ladies would just like dance like you and I would dance at a party. They were belly dancing, right? And so I said, I really like this, but I want to learn how to do it like really well, right? I didn't want to embarrass myself in front of my in-laws and family, right? So I started to take private lessons. And then through the private lessons, my husband and I had a dance studio. We hired a belly dancer to come and do classes. So I was just on a weekly basis taking classes and taking private lessons with her. And then fast forward to about, I want to say it was like 2017, maybe 2018, I'm not really sure, maybe even before that. But I was approached by one of the ladies that you're going to hear from this evening, and she said, do you think you can start teaching belly dance? Right? Because she knew my husband. And I was like, I guess so. Like, why not? Right? And that's it. Then I started teaching and we started doing parades, and I started to then choreograph for their performances. And now they're like superstars in this community of Solivita. And the class itself has even grown in numbers. And we are just like so surprised by it. And I even have virtual classes now for belly dancing as well. So it really has grown. Now, if you are joining us here on Facebook in the group, then I'm not going to be able to know if you're on unless you say in the comments, You're here. Where are you joining us from? We do have a few on Zoom. So if you're on Zoom, I am just going to mute you so that we don't have that background noise going on during the interviews. So let's just take a look and see who is on. Monica is on. I love it. Monica's a hardcore fan in here. Rini, thank you for joining. Keep them coming, everybody. As you're coming in, just say hi, hello, so that I know that you're here. All right, so let's get this thing started because we have a lot of women to interview. So first up, I am going to introduce you to what I think is one of the original founders of this particular group in Solivita, and that is Dorcas. So Dorcas, welcome, welcome, welcome. I did ask you to unmute, so you should see something that says unmute. Just accept it. There you go. There we go. How are you, Dorcas?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, so Dorcas, tell us a little bit about how you first got involved with belly dancing.
Well, it started here at Solivita. I think I was about 69 or 68, 69, and they hired a ballroom dancer
Mhm.
instructor. And she informed them that she was also a professional belly dancer. So they asked her, would she teach? And she agreed. And that was our first class. Unfortunately, she didn't stay very long,
Okay.
but we already had the fever, those of us that went to the class, and we kept on dancing by ourselves. And
Okay.
then we asked, fast forward, oh, Dee Sloan then was in the class and she said, I have belly dancing experience. At that time, she had like 35 years. And I said, would you? And she said, sure. So we had a volunteer instructor, Dee Sloan.
Yes, and we will hear from Dee also this evening. And she actually mentioned that after that, that's when you all started to do parades and you were doing the
Yes,
parade and the Mardi Gras parade. So that's how it all kind of got started, right?
right.
Okay.
And at the time, sometimes we only had 5 people in class, or 10.
Mhm.
And we used to take turns when Dee couldn't do it. We used to teach ourselves the little bit we knew. But we stayed unified. And you say, what did belly dancing do to me? The unification of women here in Solivita, that group. And you know, when you came, we still had that nucleus of women, and that was great.
Now, what, as far as benefits, now you're mentioning that you had that unification, right, of women, but what kind of benefits do you think you've experienced physically or mentally or maybe even emotionally by participating in belly dance at your age?
Well, I think it's kept me young. I am not my chronological age, and
Which,
everybody knows that, right, lady?
what is your chronological age?
I'll be 84 in May.
That's right.
But I do not feel 84. I do not act 84. And yes, ladies, I could shake. So I love it. It's become very much a part of me. I really, really love it. And understand, before Solivita, I never had a dancing class, never even danced socially. So this really opened me up to light music and dancing. I love it. I love it.
And what happens to you emotionally, do you think, when you dance? Because you certainly do go
Don't you
other
see?
place.
Don't you see me? I I transform myself. I think I could compete, which I cannot. But when I'm dancing, I think I could compete with Shakira, with
Oh,
Beyonce, with
now have
though,
whole process and your whole journey, right?
yes, it feels
You
so
ever-
good.
Have you ever encountered any maybe like challenges or obstacles related to your age while practicing belly dance?
Other than my husband, no.
Yeah, with you.
He keeps saying, how long you gonna keep this up? Until I'm scared. When I cannot, the ladies from the original group will tell you. I had 2 episodes that I had to stop belly dancing for a little while. Honey, I hurried up. One was I had bilateral knee replacements. Within 6 weeks, I was back to belly dance. I had fractured my back another time. Asked Dee and Sandy and Carol. They said, you back up? I went with the brace on. I had the doctor said to not remove the brace. I didn't remove it, but I danced. I just love it. I think it's very sensuous. I think it makes you feel like a complete woman. My definition of woman: feminine, beautiful, sexy, the whole works.
And so would you say that that's what keeps you motivated to continue practicing and performing?
Oh, well, before we perform, and I've told you, I am Marcia will tell you, I practice every day, sometimes twice a day, because it doesn't come easy to me. I know when I'm up there, I make it look like it's not easy for me, but I practice. When we perform, then I take a break. I love it, love it, love it.
Now, what do you think, in what ways uh do you feel that belly dance has empowered you or maybe changed your perspective on aging?
I don't think about age. I
That's
think that's what it
a
is.
good way not to
I
think about it.
well, I don't have. I'm performing. I'm dancing. Age, hey, like Marcia says, that's just a number, and I'm beginning to feel that way.
Good. I'm glad.
And I know when I go to my doctor, he says, "I can't believe you. Look at you. Look at you." Yes, but I think it has to do, the majority of that feeling comes from the belly dancing. I look forward to Wednesdays. I look forward to performing. I love it.
And so what advice would you give someone, let's say in your age group, who would or might be interested in kind of doing some kind of dancing, maybe not necessarily belly dance, but for the first time? What would you say to them?
Do it. The first time is the hardest time. Do it. If you do not do it, you'll keep saying, why didn't? And you keep getting older. You see, I'm not getting old.
No, you're not. You're ageless. You're ageless, I always like to say.
I love, I love it.
Okay, well, Dorcas, thank you so much. You can hang out with us, but we are going to be moving on to our remaining dancers that we have on. So next up, we are going to see Margaret. So Margaret, can you please unmute?
Unmute.
Hey. I'm so proud of my belly dancers because they're learning all this new technology. I'm literally in 15 minutes before this interview, so I love it. I love it. So Margaret, tell us how you got involved with belly dancing. Oh, oh no, you muted again. Hold on, mute, unmute. There
I
we go.
think Dorcas gave it all. I think she represents the whole group. Actually, how I started. Okay, when I first moved to Solivita, I was looking at all the different classes. When I got across belly dancing, I said, that's different. I wonder what's this all about. So I went to the Palms where the class was scheduled, and Dorcas was there, of course. She looked like a Hawaiian lady. She wore Hawaiian shirt. I said, "Are you from Hawaii?" She said, "No." You look like a Hawaiian. So anyhow, we didn't have an instructor that day, but she was telling me all about it. She showed me some pictures from the past parades. I looked at those pictures. They impressed me so much. I said, wow, I would love to dress up like that and feel like a kid again. Sounds wonderful. So this is how I started. And we had a first parade. I remember my daughter called me. I was on the phone. I said, "Oh, I better cut that short because I'm going to the practice for the parade." And she goes, what do you do when you practice for the parade? I said, well, we walking around the room with the wings on because at the time you have to wear wings for it. She was cracking up. She said, I can't believe that. She probably pictured a bunch of old ladies with the wings on. I can only imagine. She said, Mom, I can't wait to retire, she said. So anyhow, we have now we had some different instructor in the past, and now we have you, Catherine. You are so smart, you sincere, you make us all welcome. I love it. I feel like a kid again. And besides, I recommend to anybody who loves music and who likes dancing. And as a French benefit, is healthy because we were told that after 55, when your estrogen level goes down, you're supposed to move, and dancing is one of the best things. Walking and dancing is one of the best things for your bones. So as a French benefit, besides having fun, it's good for my health.
Now, did you ever have any moments, Margaret, where maybe you felt like you were like there was some challenges or maybe some obstacles,
Well, I had a back issue in the past, but I think it helps when I exercise. Feels better. In fact, recently my back feels better. In fact, I had a doctor appointment on Monday, this past Monday. She said, "Do you have any pain?" I said, "Actually, no." Knock on wood. Hopefully, that would go away forever. So that's all I gotta say about that. I love it. I feel like a kid when I dress up.
What's your advice for someone who's thinking about it?
My advice is just go try it. You have nothing to lose. You may like it. Try it. You like it, like they say.
Well, thank you so much, Margaret, for sharing your story.
Okay. You're welcome.
Hang out here, hang out here. I'm just going to place you on mute and bring in our next belly dancer who you guys may remember from last year. We have Ludmila.
Hi, Catherine. Good evening, everyone.
Hi. So Ludmila, tell us now your story. So how did you originally get involved with belly dancing?
Well, about 3 years ago, I think it's been 3 years or maybe 3.5 years, I was in the pool and we had just moved to Solivita and I sat in the pool with Dorcas. And we were just talking and getting to know each other. And she said, you need to come to belly dance. And I said, belly dance? I said, no, I've danced classical ballet, but nah, I don't think that that's for me. And then I gave her excuses. I have a spinal fusion and and she said, you need to come to belly dance. But I shared with you before that I do have a spinal fusion on C4 and C5. And I realized that I sometimes let it limit myself because it's a fear. It's a subconscious fear that if I fall, I'm going to, you don't want to do anything. But anyway, so then I spoke to one of the other ladies that I had gotten to know, which was Barbara. And I said, well, I want to try it. So I came and I haven't looked back since. For me, it's been very healing because once you've gone through a traumatizing experience with your body, you not only does the doctor give you limitations, but he'll tell you that as you get older, this is what's going to happen. You're going to need another fusion. But I've learned to know my body better. And you've actually allowed us to sort of look at our body differently, not just look at, just moving one thing, but literally each section of your body is able to move. And you're allowing us to explore how we can move our bodies in ways that we've never thought about. And those things are also exercise. It's not lifting weights, but it's exercise. And it's very healthy for your spine, for coordination, just everything. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's very therapeutic. And because I still work, it's very relaxing. I tell my students don't bother me on Wednesdays, even though they do. But I love it. It's definitely a blessing. And Dorcas, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for being an amazing teacher. I love it.
Thank you. So you started to take the class, and then how did you get involved in the actual group?
I just kind of, decided to go for it. I figured if I'm in the class, I might as well go and perform. And I did used to dance ballet, so I said, well, I might as well challenge myself if I'm in the class. But I will say that I was able to do that because I became confident through the class. So the class gave me the confidence to then say, okay, if you can do that, and now you see that you see that you can do this, then just try it. So I joined, and I also wanted to piggyback on what Dorcas said. We became a sisterhood.
Yes.
And that sisterhood just there was a camaraderie there. You see everybody, and I see my examples. I see all these role models. So all the ladies that have been in there before, they are literally my role models for not making any excuses, not doing nothing, and not forgetting about your health, but just forgetting about the limitations that have been placed on you and just going for it. So, and I have the same thing. My doctors, they don't have any complaints. I don't have any complaints. So, and I will not have another spinal fusion because of it.
So would you say overall, your experience has somehow changed, like you were mentioning, your perspective about aging, right?
Yes, because when I tell my friends that I'm belly dancing, they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, we don't have time to sit down. We don't have to sit down yet. Society tells us that at a certain number, I don't even want to say age, but at a certain number, you need to do certain things. But as Dorcas said, it's how you feel. It's really not, it's just a number, but it's how you feel. And because we have that sisterhood, we have the camaraderie, having the club to be able to perform and to come out, you're also disciplining yourself, because it's not just about doing, a little bit of something and then going home. You really have to look at the techniques. And yes, it's socializing for us, but the techniques are there, and they're not easy. So we do have to keep practicing. You do have to understand your body every day. And I do appreciate that part, that I know my body in ways that I didn't know before. So
yeah, and I really like that you said that, because you're right. We are so set in moving our entire body all at once, and we don't stop to think, like, my arms can move without the rest of my body moving. My legs can move without the rest of my body moving, or my midsection can move, my hips can move. And so it's bringing up one of the things that I love about teaching belly dance is that even if you're restricted in any way, even if, let's say, you have a shoulder issue or you have a hip issue or you have a knee issue, or you can't stand for too long, there are still so many ways that you can still use your body parts, if you will.
One of the
So
things that I like is that I did dance classical ballet before, but if you had an injury, you literally set out. It wasn't about, well, I have the injury, I can make modifications. You couldn't. But because we now learn to use our body in different parts, so you might not be able to move your hips, but you can move your shoulders. So to look at all the different ways in which your body can move helps you to not limit yourself, even if you have an injury, because you can be careful enough and then move that part that can move, because that's what belly dancing is about, is learning how to move every part of your body individually, coherently, or one at a time. So that's a technique that I really appreciate that I didn't know before. Yeah.
And so what advice would you give someone that maybe is kind of stuck and they're not sure if this is really the way they would want to, maybe they don't know, like belly dance? I don't know. What would you say to somebody?
Well, I actually met someone last week who was in that place, and I said, come to the class, look at the diversity of not only the numbers, the ages, for lack of better words, the numbers, physically, what we can and cannot do, whether we have ailments or whatever, limitations, size, and you will see a diversity that's unbelievable. And we're all there doing our thing. So nobody cares what your condition is. We want you there, and we'll help you to get through that. So there is a camaraderie there, and there's so much support. So nobody's going to look at you because they think, oh, it's not written on your forehead that you've never danced. So go for it.
Okay, well, thank you, Ludmila, for sharing your story with us. I'm going to place you on mute and I'm going to put you back to the top. All right, so let's just take a couple of minutes. I'm going to go through what some of the ladies are saying on Facebook. So yes, they're saying, Dorcas, you're so blessed. Dorcas has, Marion says, Dorcas has inspired me too. We have, is Dorcas the recruiter? Yes, the answer is yes. Go Ludmila. Margaret, I love your story about your daughter's reaction. You give her something to aspire to, is what someone said. Rini and Barb Johnson. Oh, she's on. Awesome, Ludmila. Margaret, you were great. So Barb is up next, actually. She is away, but we are going to be sharing her interview because I was able to interview her. So let me just get this technical stuff done. And then I'll be able to figure out who is who. So let's see. I think this is it. All right. Okay, well, next up we have Barbara Johnson, and she's going to tell us a little bit about how she first got involved in belly dancing. So Barbara, tell us, what got you into belly dancing?
Well, whenever I would go to the gym, I was always interested in classes. I always found the treadmill to be a boring exercise. And I just I saw it and I was like, wow, belly dancing, that's interesting. Something that I never thought about doing. I've always been a conservative person, but I tried it. I went to the class and I absolutely loved it.
When you said that you were a conservative person, when somebody said belly dancing to you, what came to mind?
I just never thought that, that I would be shaking my hips and, people wearing midriffs and, just, I'm just not that kind of person. So I've always dressed conservatively. And so I went to the class and it was just almost like a freedom. And I just loved it. It was just so fun. And then I met Dorcas, who kind of recruited me. She was like, you're not half bad. You should try this. And I just kept coming and I just kind of fell into it. I just love it. So
Now, what benefits have you experienced physically, mentally, maybe emotionally from participating in belly dance, especially in an over 55 community?
Okay. Well, like I mentioned, the freedom, I just feel kind of free when I do it. Um, I realized that I can move my hips a little bit more than I thought I could. I've lost some weight. Um, it's uh it's just living in the 55 plus community. People kind of admire you for being a belly dancer. Like, wow, you can do that. They think that they can't do it, but they really could if they really came on a regular to the class. But emotionally, it just makes me feel good. I guess it's the endorphins,
Yep.
they say, that kind of kicks in and it makes you feel good.
Mhm.
And then it gives me a sense of camaraderie with the other women that are doing it. So,
And was there ever a time where you experienced maybe a challenge or an obstacle while maybe in class or getting ready for a performance? And if so, how did you overcome it?
well, there's definitely been times that I've felt stressed, like I'm just not getting it. But you just keep asking, and how do you do this? How do you do that? And there's always somebody that'll explain it a different way, and then it finally clicks.
Okay.
So sometimes it's just the way it's explained.
Okay.
So
So you
yeah.
first started by joining the class and then you decided to do the performance group because of Dorcas, you said.
Yes. Hmm.
And so after you tried your first time in the performance group, maybe like the first rehearsal, were you like, yeah, this is for me? Or were you like, oh no, what did I sign up for?
No, I kind of felt like this is for me. I wouldn't say the first time, but maybe after a couple times, I was like, wow, I can do this. I gained more confidence. Um, and I just enjoyed it so much. Like I said, I enjoyed the camaraderie. The women are really nice. And that freedom, it just makes you feel a little bit younger than you are. So.
And what keeps you motivated to continue practicing and performing?
We have a great choreographer who constantly teaches us different moves. Um, and I just feel like the more I keep doing it, I think I'm getting better. So um, I don't know, but so that's motivating. And then the weight loss is motivating too. It's a good exercise,
And
you
do you
know.
think that belly dancing has kind of empowered you or changed your perspective on aging?
Definitely. I mean, I feel like I can do anything. I mean, if I have women that I am doing belly dancing with that are in their 70s, 80s, and I'm sure they'll keep going into their 90s, and I feel like I can do the same thing. So
Good.
not just with belly dancing, but anything that I want to do, I feel like I can do it. So age is just a number.
And what advice would you give to someone who might be interested in trying belly dancing for the first time?
Don't be discouraged, by you look at some of us and you think, wow, they're really good. But it takes a lot of practice and it takes I've been doing it for I think 4 years now, 3 or 4 years now. So what they're seeing is a product of 4 years of work. It doesn't happen overnight. So
Correct. I'm so glad that you said that because that is true.
mhm,
What people see on the stage, what people see during parades, and they're like, wow, they're so good. Like, I can
mhm,
never do that. But you said it. It
yeah,
takes hours and hours
yes,
of practice
yeah,
and dedication to keep practicing even outside of those practices
yes,
so that the group, because it becomes a team effort, right? And so the group has to look good. It's not just
right,
a solo, there's no I in team, like they say. So
right,
everybody has their own part in making the end result successful. Well, thank you
right.
so much, Barbara, for joining us,
Thank
and
you.
we'll see you soon.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was Barbara Johnson, who is, I would say, yeah, I think it is about 3 or 4 years that she's already been part of the group. But I hope that those of you that are watching, that you're realizing there's a lot of the same words are being kind of said between all of these ladies. So not only are all of these ladies different ages, because I don't know if you can kind of hear the different when they are mentioning their ages, they're all different sizes. They are all from different places, right? Different nationalities. But they're all kind of saying the same words. So towards the end, I want you to kind of let's see who was paying attention and see what those common words were that they all used. But let's move on to, we have two more. Let's see, I'm gonna share my screen. And we will go with Dee Sloan, who is one of the instructors or retired instructors, right? That Dorcas had mentioned. So here's her interview. Okay, so next up we have Dee Sloan. Hey, Dee.
Hi, Catherine. How are you today?
Good, good. Thanks so much for joining us. So tell us a little bit about how you got involved with belly dancing in general, because you were doing belly dancing way before you came to Solivita, right?
Oh, yes, I was. It's an interesting story. Way back when, we're talking 50 some years ago, I was very thin, but I always had a big tummy. And we happened to be watching a movie one night that had a belly dancer. And my husband looked at me and said, "You should take that up. That'll be a way for you to get rid of your tummy." And I took him up on it. And it's a crazy story. I got a book or a magazine and started practicing. Couldn't understand why my stomach never got any flatter. And some other things occurred, and I went to my doctor, who said, "The reason your stomach didn't get flatter is there's a baby in there." I didn't realize I was pregnant. After the baby was born, I started taking some classes, and my instructor came to me one day and said, "Yeah, you're pretty good at this. Would you like to teach some of the classes for me?" And I said, "Sure," since I have a background in teaching. And it, went from there. I started performing and did that for a number of years in St. Louis until we moved away. And then basically in your mid 40s, it's kind of hard to reestablish yourself as an entertainer. But I've always loved it. It's always been fun. It's always been a good form of exercise. I will do it. Sometimes I'll get away from it for a while, but I always come back to it.
Okay. And in your experience, what do you think, what kind of benefits do you think that you experienced yourself physically, mentally, emotionally?
Okay. Physically, it's a good overall exercise. There's no question about it. And with any exercise program, you have to find something you like that you will continue to do. If you get me in a room with weights, I'll probably do it once and go, "This is not for me." Dance, I will come back to. The benefits, some other physical benefits, there are a bunch of them. I have two children. I had very short labors, and I'm wondering if some of that is from the exercise I was doing that involved my midsection muscles. Other things, other physical things. 7 years ago, I had to have some serious back surgery, and I made a full recovery from it. And I attribute that to being in good shape from the dancing. Mental benefits. I'm always happy when I dance. I smile when I dance. My husband used to tease me when I would go out to perform. I would come home, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I'd be in a happy mood, and I get the vacuum out and start vacuuming, which is not something I normally like to do, but I was always upbeat after that. So, it's just a mood enhancer.
Now, you had taken a little bit of a break from just dancing in general, and then you came back. So do you feel that you encountered any challenges or obstacles after having not done it for so long? And now you were also older, right? So it wasn't the same.
No. The two breaks that I took in recent years were because of some medical problems. and I knew that I had to come back slowly.
Okay.
But I've been belly dancing so long, I consider it like walking. It's just something that's always there. Now, can I get down on my knees anymore and do the kneeling steps? No, not anymore. The knees say, can't do that anymore. But, no.
And so tell me a little bit about how your experience with the group, because you were one of the originals, right, in this particular group at Solivita, yes?
Yes, I was. Several friends knew my background and asked me if I would teach the belly dancing class. And I went, I don't want to do that. And finally, they kept asking, and I said, okay, I'm not certified, I'm not insured, so I did it as a volunteer instructor. When I learned to belly dance or to teach belly dancing, there was no such thing as certification for it. It was just something I did in an adult ed class.
Mm-hmm.
So I taught that class for 8 years. You know some of the girls who were in the class, Dorcas, of course, and Sandy,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to think a couple others who were there. I had to give it up because of the back surgery. I did something to my back. I went to the doctor, says you need to have your spine fused. It may or may not work. And so that's when I said, hey guys, I'll be out for at least a year and a half. I'm not sure if I'll be able to walk afterwards, much less dance. So it's time for you to find a new instructor. But it's something I just love doing.
And
I
at
do.
that time, did you guys already have the parade? Like, were you doing performances, or it was mainly just the class?
Just the parades. We didn't do performances on the stage at that time. I think a couple of girls did without me. They had some things, but we did the holiday parade and the Mardi Gras parade every year,
Okay.
including the year that I was recovering from the back surgery when I went to see the parade and somebody draped a hip scarf around me and said, get in the cart. So, and that was,
So what do you think keeps you motivated to continue to practice and to perform?
well, I'm a ham. I get a high from performing. I love it when people say, oh, you did a great job. You look so nice. And the practice is exercise is important. I like to eat. If I don't exercise, I'm going to be very large. And I'd much rather dance than lift weights or run. That's the exercise that appeals to me.
Now, a lot of the ladies have shared that, how they feel when they are belly dancing. And
Okay.
so some of them feel a sense of freedom. Some of them have said they feel empowered. So my question to you is, how has belly dancing maybe changed your perspective on aging?
Well, I never thought I'd still be belly dancing at 76. And, but I will tell you that when I first learned to do this, my instructor said to the class, you have to adopt a different persona when you belly dance because of the history of this art form. And this is something I used to explain to my classes. This is an old art form. Long before women's lib or women's rights, women were multiple wives were competing for the attention of their husband using this dance. Mm-hmm. So you can't go into belly dancing and think I'm here because, oh, my body looks awful and I need to work on it. You have to go in and say, I'm the best looking woman in the harem. Look at me. And what this has done for me, and my husband will say this, I'm a lot less shy than I was 50 years ago. And that's from the belly dancing. Because I can be Farrah the belly dancer and get up on stage in front of 1,000 strangers. And if they don't like it, they don't like Farrah. It's not Dee Dee they don't like. No. And that's really, really
good way to explain it to people, because we get that question like, how do you do that? I never knew you could do that. Or you look like a different person when you're on there. And it's like, yeah, we are different because we're taking on a different persona. And I think a lot of, entertainers that people see and that are good performers, that's what sets them apart, that they probably take on this other person. And when they're on that stage, that's who's there. you know, and when they
Yeah.
step off, then they're their normal selves. So
Yeah.
that's what gives them that motivation. Now,
Yeah.
what kind of advice do you think you'd give someone brand new? Because we're always getting brand new people into the class, but there are a lot of just people that kind of pass by and are like, you know, kind of thinking about it, but they're very hesitant. So what would you say to someone about trying belly dancing for the first time?
I would say come in, have fun. These movements are natural movements. Some of them are foreign to us, particularly the belly movements and the abdominal. Well, yeah, but everybody can do them if they practice. And again, take on this new persona. Pick a name for yourself that's different from yours, and become that person, and pretend, and just have fun.
Yeah.
Everybody who walks into your class is not going to become a professional belly dancer. Certainly not the people in Solivita. No, we're not. But it is fun. It's a beautiful art form. Everybody can do it. Some can do it better than others, like anything else in life. But yeah, so just come in and try it.
Okay.
Now, I know there are people who try it because it's a different form of dance and they like dance. But I've met some others who are not dancers and they're still having a good time in class.
Yes, and I think that's the beauty of belly dancing, and I hope that everyone kind of sees and hears that that's kind of a pattern that's going on with all of the interviews today, is that everyone is saying that it's something completely different than regular dancing, because it not only involves your whole body, but you're just so immersed in the whole experience
Yeah,
that
you
it
need to
really
be.
does change you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's one of the reasons we wear the hip scarves, because it helps us to make the transition from every day to this exotic persona, this belly dancer, this sexy, beautiful woman that you may not see yourself as all the time.
right. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Dee, for joining us and sharing your story. I hope that it inspires the other ladies here to maybe try a class if they haven't already.
Sure, thanks.
Okay. All right. I kind of gave a clue in that interview as to some of the words you're supposed to be putting together in there. And let me know in the comments, ladies, are you enjoying these stories? What about the stories that you have heard so far? What are the things that are resonating with you? What are the words? What are the feelings that you're getting as these women are sharing their stories? And can I just say that they're just already stepping outside of their comfort zones? Because although you see them always on stage or in the parades and they don't seem shy at all, let me tell you, doing these interviews is very nerve-wracking for some of them. So they're being very brave right now. All right, so we still have two more to go. And I just wanted to share all of these interviews because they were really some stories I didn't even know myself. So next up we have Iris. And Iris Roberts. Yes, let me see if I can get her here. And here. So we have Iris Roberts joining us. Hi,
Hi, Catherine.
Iris. So you have been taking belly dancing for how long?
I would say almost 3 years.
3 years. Awesome. And so how did you first get involved? Did someone tell you about the class, or how did you first get involved with belly dancing?
Yes, someone told me about the class. I moved to Solivita during COVID, and there weren't too many classes going on, and you weren't teaching at that time. And then somebody told me that they heard Catherine is coming back to teaching in Solivita, and she teaches cardio ballroom and Zumba and belly dancing. And I said, belly dancing? Wow, I didn't know there was belly dancing here in Solivita. I have to try that.
So what was it about belly dancing? Like you said, wow, I didn't know that was here. What was it that drew you into that? Was it just curiosity, or was it something you had seen in the past?
Well, I've seen belly dance performances in the past, but I've always liked to dance. I've been dancing since I was 5 years old, and
Okay.
I've taken a lot of dance classes. I took ballet, I took modern, and I've done line dancing. I did Zumba before I moved to Solivita, but I never did belly dancing. And I said, well, that's a new form of dance for me. I have to try it. I like the music too. I love the music, the Arabic music. Not
Now,
all of it's Arabic, but I like that kind of music.
now, since you've been, so throughout these 3 years that you've been studying belly dancing, have you ever encountered any challenges or obstacles related to your age while practicing belly dancing?
I don't know if it's related to my age, but I found some of the isolations of different parts of the body challenging, but I think that's just because I never did them before, not so much because of age.
And so what kind of specific benefits do you think that you've experienced physically or mentally or emotionally or all three because of your participation in belly dance?
Well, I mean, it's a good workout, and I find, physically it energizes me, and emotionally it makes me happy. I love doing belly dancing.
Now, you did mention that isolations, right? So in belly dance,
Yes.
we do talk a lot about isolating the different body parts. So do you think that that has also helped in kind of being able to isolate different parts of your body and work on one section at a time?
Oh, definitely. That has improved a lot since I've been taking belly dancing.
Good. And so what made you decide to join the performance group? Because the performance group is different than just the belly dance class.
I just thought it would be a lot of fun. I
Now, was
like dressing up in costumes.
was this the first time that you were going to be in a performance group at Solivita or?
Yes.
All right, nice.
I had done performances in previous dance groups that I was in. In college, I did modern dance and I did performances there. I did ballet performances as a child. So I wasn't completely new to,
As a mature mama, this was your first
yes,
time.
definitely.
Okay. And so what would you say keeps you motivated to continue to practice this particular dance form and then to perform it?
I just love it. I just feel so happy when I do it. I like all the people that are in the belly dance troupe, and I just really enjoy it a lot.
And what advice would you give to others in your specific age group? Because that's really what we're talking about. People, women in your in this stage, right, in your life, who might be, like, I always wanted to try that, or looks a little interesting. And so they're interested in kind of trying it, belly dancing for the first time. What advice would you give someone?
Oh, I always tell them that they should definitely try it. I said, you don't know whether you like something or don't like something unless you try it. I said, I didn't know what it really was before I tried it, but I tried it and I loved it. And most of the women that have tried it enjoy it and come back. So, a lot of people say, oh, I'm too heavy. I have a belly. I said, you need a belly for belly dancing. It helps to have one. I always tell people to try it. I say you'll enjoy it, you'll have fun, you will think, gee, what was I missing all these years?
Yeah. And what does your family have to say about it?
Oh, they think it's very cool. I send videos to everybody and they go, wow, you did that? They can't believe it.
Yeah, I know, because it's pretty amazing. Because tell everyone here, what is your age?
I am 80 years old.
That's right. I know. And she says that really, really proud. Well, thank you, Iris, so much for sharing your story. And we're moving on to the next one. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Catherine.
Okay, let me see. Oh, wait, hold on. Where am I? Here we go. All right. So some of you are kind of warm with your comments, saying fun, camaraderie, great exercise, age is just a number, makes you feel good. Yes, you're all kind of in the right spots for that. And we have our last one. Now, I saved her for last because Ludmila, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but she is the president of your belly dance club, correct? Yes. Okay. So in all these years that they've had this belly dance group, they never officially became a club until just a few months ago. So now the belly dancers of Solivita, or the Solivita belly dancers, I'm not quite sure how they refer to themselves now because they are celebrities and they have created this club now, right? So next I have Sheila. And she's going to tell you a little bit about her story. And then we're going to close it up with some thoughts. So here is Sheila's story. Here we go. And so next up, we have Sheila Minor, and she is also a member of the Solivita Belly Dancers. Hi, Sheila. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in belly dancing and what initially drew you to it?
Sure. Actually, a friend, when I was 50, said, "Hey, I saw this belly dance class. I'm really interested. Do you want to go with me?" I didn't know anything about belly dance. I had a dance background, but I didn't know anything about belly dance. It's like, sure, I'll try it. So that's how I initially got involved, and that was 20, almost 21 years ago now. And I've been doing it ever since, and I love it.
Okay. And did you actually get, well, you joined I think you had a performance group, right? That you kind of danced with.
Yes, not initially. I took belly dance for a while, and then I was invited to join a performance group, and I actually did a couple different performance groups eventually. And I took a lot of classes, a lot of workshops, a lot of extra things as well.
Okay. And did you ever get to teach it as well?
I did teach it kind of after I stopped performing. I started teaching at a local community center where I was living then.
Okay. And so everybody always talks about the physical benefits of belly dancing because they do see the fitness side of it. But what benefits do you think that it provides to you physically, mentally, and emotionally?
Well, physically, it's great, especially I think for older dancers. It's much easier on your body than other forms of dance. So I think it's something that you could, versus other forms of dance, that you can continue with your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Mentally, belly dance is really interesting in that people of all ages, all shapes, all sizes, anybody can do it. And I love that about it. And the other component of that is you kind of form a sisterhood with it. And I know for me personally, it changed my body image somewhat. When I was 3, I had my appendix removed, so I've had this big scar on my belly my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Even as a teenager, I wouldn't wear a bikini. But once I started belly dancing, like, it didn't matter. Whatever your body was, it was absolutely okay to show it.
And was there any point in all of that time, that whether you were learning or just getting started, was there any time that you encountered any challenges or obstacles related to your age and how did you overcome them?
Actually, all the people I performed with were considerably younger than I was. So I was kind of the old person in the group. But as far as the group itself, no one ever had a problem with that. They were just very accepting and still are to this day. Our group in Solivita, very accepting of whatever age you are. Sometimes audiences, initially, I always felt like, are they looking at me funny? But you know, their response was always great, and people would come up to me after shows and like be like, "Hey, this kind of inspires me. You know, maybe I can do something." So.
And so, speaking of the group at Solivita, how did you like? What made you decide to join that? Did somebody recruit you, or did you just kind of find out about it?
Well, when I first moved to Solivita, I tried out a variety of classes, and of course, belly dance was one of them. And as probably many of the people would tell you, one of our little people, Dorcas, was like, "You need to join our belly dance group." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Anyway, that's what started it all. So.
Okay. And what do you think keeps you motivated to continue to practice and to perform?
Well, I'm not huge at this point in my life at doing exercise that seems like work. Belly dance is just fun. And I have to commend you, Catherine. You make it even more fun. You make it easy for beginners, and you make it entertaining for those of us who might be more advanced.
Well, thank you. And in what way do you think that belly dancing has empowered you? So as a woman over 55, you know, maybe have you found empowerment, or maybe it's changed your perspective on aging?
I think just the fact that you can get out there at this age, and we don't wear the skimpiest of attire by any means, but still your body's kind of on display. And I think all of us that like are in the group that perform and everything, we're all okay with that. And you know, I hear so many people talk about, "Ooh, I need to lose 5 or 10 pounds," or "this is fat," or whatever. And so I think that part, it's just like, it kind of makes it okay. Whatever your body is at this age. There's some things you can change, and some things age just takes a toll on.
And so if I was somebody new thinking about belly dancing and maybe, you know, thinking like, oh, I don't know if I'm maybe too old for this, or maybe, you know, my body, like you were saying, you know, maybe I'm too shy. I don't want to show my body. You know, there was somebody like that. What would you say to them about trying belly dancing for the first time?
Everything you do, you can do at your own pace, whatever you're comfortable with. And plus, I think the group is very non-judgmental in that way, and very welcoming. I think any of us, if you ask us, would say, "Hey, yes, come join us. We'll help you. We'll do whatever."
And what you were saying before about the sisterhood part of it, do you think, was that something that you expected, would you say, or is that something that kind of has been building throughout your time with the Solivita belly dancers?
I think it's built over time with the Solivita belly dancers. And since I joined the group, I think the group's gone through kind of a transformation too, from what they used to do to how much they perform now. And I think that's also brought us all closer together. We're very supportive of one another, I think.
Yes, you're all amazing. That's why I have you on here. Well, thank you so much, Sheila, for all of your sharing your story with us and giving that advice to the ladies in this group. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so lots of stories to share. I love the comments that were in the group while you were watching all of that. Barbara said, yes, wanted to say, feels like a sisterhood. Belly dancing with friendly new lady friends has been a beautiful way to exercise my body, my mind, and soul. Lots of endorphins released for me, I think. So always happy times for me when I belly dance. So really, really good. So a lot of the common things, what was being said here? Well, you said it, those of you that were paying attention, right? Exercise, you know, I like that word, exercise, that it's a workout, that it's something physical for them to do, that they don't feel like they're working, right? Sisterhood, that one was clearly said between a lot of the ladies, right? And so what I wanted to kind of relate to sisterhood is that is accountability. That's accountability, ladies. You know, when I'm talking about what is that magic formula that's going to get you into that healthy lifestyle, right? We talk about the plan, we talk about the consistency, and then we talk about that accountability. This sisterhood that this group has, it serves as a different kind of accountability because they all depend on each other. The group does not function if everybody does not do their part, right? So everybody has to know their choreography. Everybody has to practice outside of the group's practice time, right? But they're at the end of the day, they're all there to help each other out. And that's why the group is successful, because they have all of those three things together, because they are feeling good, right? There's no judgment. They have support. Again, that's all accountability, right? They feel happy. Now, that's not to say that there aren't challenges along the way, right? With any kind of journey, any fitness journey, any dancing, if you're learning dancing, whatever it is, everything has challenges and obstacles. And you heard from each and every woman in here pretty much had some medical issue at some point, which is fine. Those are things that happen as you go through that new stage in your life. But what did they do? Did they sit down and say, no, this is going to stop me from going forward? Absolutely not. They put on their big girl panties, literally their belly dancing panties, and then they just started to do their thing, and they just picked up from where they left off, and they just continued to do what they could with the changes that they now had in their body. So most of all, why do they do it? Because it makes them happy, right? And at the end of the day, that is what I want you to take away from all of this. Your happiness, your why. If you were paying close attention, I literally asked every single person, why do you continue doing this? Why? And they all had a reason. And that is why when we're talking about why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to get in shape? Why do you want to get stronger? You have to have a really good why. It's not enough to say, I want to be healthy. Who doesn't want to be healthy? Everybody wants to be healthy, right? That's not a good enough answer. Why? Because why? You have to continue asking yourself, why do you want to be healthy, right? Is it because, let's say in this case with these women, they had medical issues, they had surgeries. It's like, I don't want that to keep me down. I want to continue moving. I want to be able to move my body. I don't want to lead a couch potato kind of life, right? So think about those things as you're listening to all of these stories. What is your why at the end of the day? Why do you want to lead those things? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want, always ask yourself why? Because if your why is strong enough, you will make those changes. You will make those things happen. And that's what you saw here with these women. Their why is strong. Their passion, the passion behind why they do belly dancing, right, is strong enough that it keeps them motivated enough to practice, doing lots of practice, right? And to keep you know, when things get tough, when the choreography is tough, or they're not getting a step, or they're not able to because they have to work, or they have family that comes over, obstacles that happen in your life, right? As I always say, life happens. Life happens to these women too. But the difference is that they say, nope, this is my thing. I know why I'm doing this, and I have to show up because people are counting on me, right? And so take all of what you heard tonight and kind of relate it to your own life. It's not necessarily all about belly dancing, but I wanted to use their experience and what they have learned along the way to help you, to guide you to realize what your why is. And I can help you get there. Anybody can help you with the how part. How do you, right? How do you learn belly dancing? Or how are you going to lose weight? Or how are you going to get stronger? That's the easy part, right? You have the internet. There's 1,000,001 things there, right? But the why is the one thing that is in your control. So I want you to kind of take that as food for thought for this evening. But I want to thank all of the dancers so very much, because you have literally been such a big part of my life. And I hope that everyone enjoyed hearing your stories, because you are all extremely amazing women. I don't know if you realize that, but you really are. And above all, you all step out of your comfort zones all the time. So I'm glad that you trust me enough to do that, to put your big toe in the water, right? When I ask you to, and I say, trust me, this is gonna look great. And you're all like, I don't know, right? But the end result is always amazing, because it really does lead to amazing experiences that you probably, like most of you have mentioned, you never thought you'd be doing in this new stage in your life, right? And some of you are even in your 80s, right? And it's going to help others, and I hope it does help others in here and inspire you to embrace new adventures in your life, to boost your confidence, your self-esteem, and most of all, your vitality. So thank you so much to everyone for being a part of this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this on the replay, or you're watching it through your email afterwards, please reply or put some comments down and give us your thoughts on what your takeaway was from tonight's interviews. Thank you so much, everyone. Good night.